Indian Weekender with me, Navdeep Kaur Marwa. We all have heard about various apps like Uber who have helped us with ride sharing. But today we have a special guest to tell us about a new app called Uniwaka. We have with us Chris from Unitech to tell us what is Uniwaka and what's so special about it. Welcome to the show, Chris. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you, Navdeep.
So Chris, tell me, what exactly is Uniwaka? What is the app all about?
Okay, good question. So Uniwaka is an app that helps people find a driver or a rider that's basically on their path on the way into work, into college. So it's a little bit like the old way of sharing a ride to work or to school, but now with an app to help people find that match.
Right. So what is the motivation? How did this whole idea about having an app that will connect students or staff with each other came about?
Well, the motivation initially came from my colleague Maya, who's the sustainability manager. And she said, Chris, there are too many people driving into the Unitech campus and we're making too much carbon dioxide and there's car parks, can't fit everybody. How can we be a greener polytechnic? And so I thought for a little while and said, well, maybe we can do our own version of an app, but that helps people do this and to share their car journeys, and maybe we can cut that carbon dioxide by half or more.
Mm-hmm. So when did the journey for Uniwaka came about? How long back did you started working on the app?
Yeah, good question. About 3 years ago, we came up with the basic idea, and then my design students started working on giving it some shape and thinking, how would this work? What screens would people go through to find a match on their way in? And then later, after a year or so, we also got some coding teams, some computer science students. Mm-hmm. And the first time they tried to build it, it was too difficult. So we said, okay, good job. And next time I got a bigger team of computing students, and they were able to make it and pull it together. And so since then, we've been testing it.
Okay, so is it right now in the final stages? What stage of it is right now?
So it's finished. We've done one round of user testing in the flesh, and it raised some bugs. This is what you get with new computer programs. Mm-hmm. So fixing those, we've got another trial next week, and then hopefully in about 2 or 3 weeks' time, we go live right across this institution, and yeah.
So how exactly would this application work? Like suppose I'm a student and I want to come from say Papatoy to Unitech. Mm-hmm. How exactly, to the speed that I want to travel at this time, what will be exactly how it will work?
I'll say, on my app, I want to go to Unitech on Thursday. I want to get here for a certain time. And then push go, and it shows me the people who are driving already near where I live, or they go past near where I live. And so I can then tap on one and say, hey, can I have a ride? In fact, I can tap on 2 or 3 and say, hey, which of you guys are going to answer first? And then hopefully I get one.
Right.
And then just before that ride is supposed to happen, I'll get a little alert. Hey, your ride's going to be soon. And then when the car leaves their driver's place, it says, oh, they've left, they're on their way. And when the car is outside, it says, hey, your ride is here, it's waiting for you. And so all these little details, that's where the difficulty comes in, but that's ready now in the app. And so you can see where things are on the map, and when you get here, it says, yeah, success, you've saved the planet this much carbon dioxide.
Right. So it's only for students who are studying at Unitech or the staff of Unitech, not
staff and students. Yeah.
Right. So does it check when you're registered on the app? Do you have to put in your student ID or any?
All of that. So all those security measures, they're in there. And if you're a woman and you don't want to ride in a car with a man, you can push a special button that says, I only want to see other women passengers or drivers. So good security features like that.
Right. Tell me, how is it different from, say, Uber or other ride-sharing apps?
Good question, because so we looked at things like Uber and Zoomy and Ola and thought, okay, these things are really good. People know how they work and they use them all the time. But our app is different because no one's getting paid, right? Mm-hmm. When you use Uber, you say, I want to go somewhere and I want to go now.
Right.
Right?
Right.
But this is, hey, can you give me a lift on your way?
Right.
So it's much more a social basis. Now, if you give me a ride to Unitech, you might say, hey, do you mind helping me out with the petrol cost? Can you give me a koha? And I'll say, yeah, sure. What do you think? $1, $3, $5? And our app leaves that up to the people. They say, hey, you're adults. You can figure this out. But you can't say, hey, I want to ride now. Because, hey, this is between people who work and study in the same place. So you have to ask the day before.
A day, 24 hours before you intend to travel.
Yeah, because, I mean, if I'm driving and someone says, I'd like to drive, then I have to go out of my way a little bit. And I don't want someone to tell me that 3 minutes before I leave the house, okay? So it's quite interesting because it brings back these things about social relationships. If you ask your neighbor or your friend or your family for something, you don't expect them to stop everything they're doing and run and help you, right? It's more of a normal kind of people-based relationship. So it's kind of asking people to go, not back in time, but to be more like we used to be, like friends and neighbors and community.
Right. And what about if I want to cancel it? Suppose my plan changed suddenly, I fell ill or something, then what to do?
Yeah, good question. Well, that's another one of these features. So, there's a cancel button, and there's and there's a little piece of text saying, "I'm sorry, I can't make it." And you can change that, but you can cancel. And some people might have who knows? Maybe the car breaks down. So there's other little buttons for these details.
Right. And if we talk about how do you see this app, say 5 years down the line? What do you see the future of an app like this in a long run?
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, I'm not like super successful businessman, so I don't necessarily have like the big vision. But if we think about things like Facebook and Instagram, all of these platforms are effectively free. And the same with this. This is a free kind of platform. Where I see this working is having a long-term future is that the businesses or the colleges or the universities or maybe even the downtown districts of different towns and cities, they might say, hey, this is a good idea. We'd like to do this. And maybe they will pay a little bit to use it. So the host organizations, right? The geographic location, they might pay to use it so they can reduce the number of cars, the carbon dioxide, and also connect people because you'll talk to people that you might not have talked with before.
Right.
And that for businesses is actually very valuable because people know each other better and they know how to get things done in different ways.
Right. And when you were designing this app, I'm sure you had students from different nationalities, coming together, having their own ideas from the social, all their own experiences that they have in their home countries as well when it comes to ride sharing.
Yeah.
So tell me something about that.
Well, that's really interesting because different nationalities, different cultures, they have different ways of thinking, what's normal and will I, would you give someone a lift? Here in New Zealand, we kind of forgot how to do that, right? But students from China or students from Philippines, students from India, they may have still got these kinds of cultural ways of doing things. And they brought those perspectives to the project. And also ways of communicating, ways of saying, hey, can I cancel? Sorry. So that's like a less commercial outlook. And that really helped because without that, it would have ended up being another taxi service like Uber. Yeah.
So we talk about Indian students. Were there any Indian students involved in the project?
Yeah, so we had definitely an Indian student in my design team who helped come up with the name and the logo. And also in the first computing team, there was an Indian student there, along with a Chinese and Arabic student. And the final team, there was a Pakeha New Zealander and a girl from Singapore Yeah, it's a very diverse team.
Yes. As we talk about the name, how did the name Uniwaka came about? That's a very interesting name and very catchy name.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, cool. Well, we came up with maybe 20 or 30 different little words. We thought, wow, these are all about what this app is trying to do. And we kind of mixed them up in a bag. And we said to maybe 5 or 6 people in a focus group, we threw them on the table and said, what do you think? What would you do? And they just started adding them together. And this one just popped out. And we went, oh, yeah, that's it. That's it. Thank you very much.
So that's about.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing the journey of Uniwaka, and I hope, as you said, that it's a long way to go for the apps like these, not only for the campus but also for the planet itself, where you talked about the carbon dioxide emanations and whatever the planet is going through. So I think it's a good way to start doing your bit in that regards.
Awesome. Hey, no, thank you so much, Navdeep. I really enjoyed.
Thank you so much, and people, please do have a look at Uniwaka's website to find more about the app. Keep watching IndianWeekender.co.nz to catch all the latest news.